Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. It's good to be with you today. Here we are, the beginning of the last week of March. In fact, it's Easter week. Maybe your church is having some special services this week. The virus kind of makes it a little difficult, but there are ways to kind of get around things. And that's what we're going to try to do here at Springs. We're going to plan an outdoor Easter service Sunday morning. That way we can gather as many as we want, sing as loud as we want, and we don't have to worry about any of the problems of the virus. So if you don't have any services or plans this week, come and join us. And as we go along this week, I'll be talking more and more about Easter and what happened then. But today, I want to start my last week in talking about the Gospel of John. In the 16th chapter, and beginning with verse 16, we see these words. Jesus says, "In a little while, you won't see me anymore, but a little while after that, you'll see me again." Some of the disciples ask each other, what does he mean when he says, "In a little while, you won't see me, but then you'll see me. And I'm going to the Father." And what does he mean by a little while? We don't understand. Well, I want to look at this for just a few minutes and share a couple of thoughts. Maybe they'll get you to thinking. Jesus says this statement, "In a little while you won't see me, and then in a little while you'll see me again." Now, if you're one of those disciples and you don't know about Easter, you don't know about the crucifixion, you don't know about the arrest, you don't know about the resurrection, all of that hasn't happened. You don't know about that. What do you think he was talking about? Well, you think, I guess, maybe he's going on a journey somewhere by himself? I don't know. The disciples, it says here, they said, what does he mean by that? What does he mean? I'll be here, and then I won't be here, and then I'll be here. I mean, they had walked with this man, Jesus, for 3 years. They'd spent every moment just about with him. They had given up their lives to be with him. Was he going to desert them? Was he going to walk off and do something without them? And so they talk about it and they bounce it back and forth. And then we get to these words. We don't understand. Those are really important words for us today. We live in a world where people want to know all the answers. And they want the answers right now. If something happens, they want to know why. And they want to know now. People have been saying for a year, when is this virus going to end? We want to know. And they're frustrated. And they're angry because it hasn't gone away. And maybe you're one of those. I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. I am looking forward to the day when a lot of these restrictions we don't have to have. I'd like to see my kids in other places. I'd like to see my grandkids. And many of y'all are in the same boat. But the most profound moment of Jesus' life is about to come. He knows it. The disciples don't. Now, in our lives, we experience the same thing. We may be facing the most profound moment of our existence, but we don't know it. God knows it, but we don't. And we don't because it hadn't happened yet. We cannot understand everything that God is doing. And there are other verses that tell us even if he tells us, we still wouldn't believe it. We still wouldn't understand. So we have to live with this crazy idea. I don't understand. As a professor for years, students would ask me questions. As a pastor for years, people would ask me questions. Questions I never thought about. Questions I had no answer to. And I realized very early trying to bluff my way through an answer was worthless. So what I did was say, I don't know. I never thought about it yet. And sometimes even then, after I thought about it, I still had to say, I don't know. But that not knowing is a source of strength. And the strength comes from knowing that God knows. See, Jesus knows what this phrase, I'm going to be leaving you for a while, then I'll be back, then I'm leaving you again. He knows what that means. It's just not time to share it with the disciples because they wouldn't understand. It's not that he's trying to hide it from them. It's not that he's trying to show he knows more than they do. It's just he has a bigger picture of life than the disciples do. God has a bigger picture of life, your life, than you do. Oh, I know. You'd like to have some information. So would I. And sometimes, I can get that. If I'm planning a trip and I actually get to go on the trip, well, then I get some information about what I might do there. But something might interrupt it that I have no knowledge of. But I can rest in the fact that God has knowledge of, and God knows, and God is in charge. And so the good news today is it doesn't matter where you are in life's way. Doesn't matter whether you're on the top, whether you're on the bottom, whether you're in between, whether you're succeeding and reaching a high, or whether you're struggling and heading down to a valley. Doesn't matter whether you're sick or you're well. Doesn't matter whether you are joyful or unhappy. Wherever you are, God knows it. And when we will focus on Him, then even when we don't understand, still okay. I never ever had a student come to me and say, well, you're supposed to know. And had they said that, I would say, well, maybe, but I don't. And I'm content with that. I am pleased and happy to live with not knowing sometimes because my strength and my rock is the Lord, and I know that He knows. There's nothing that's going to happen to me. There's nothing that's going to happen around me. There's nothing that's going to change my life that's going to surprise God. Probably will surprise me, but it won't surprise Him. So if my faith and strength is in Him, not me, I'm still okay. Well, you think about that today. I hope. I hope that you have a wonderful day and a wonderful this last week of the month. Thanks for listening. God bless you. I'll talk to you again.